What's going on, everybody? Jeremy Ritz here. Courage pays better than fear trading. Just doing a quick analysis of ticker symbol TSLA. Yes, Tesla. It is down significantly from its all-time highs in December. And with all of the market weakness that has been taking place, Tesla has taken a significant hit. There has been a little bit of a rebound here lately. And with Elon's involvement in the government, we've seen attacks on Tesla, the company, on his character, and that has impacted the stock price. So let's take a look at the charts and see where things are and what potentially can happen moving forward. All right, everybody, so let's take a look here at the chart. I want to start just by zooming out and looking at the monthly chart here on TradingView. And just to show, we hit these all-time highs here in December. We could see here we are up around 488.39, nearly got to that $500 price point in December. But since then, it has been a drop. If you go back historically to see, the previous all-time high was 415.45, and that occurred in 2021. And so it was quite some time that Tesla really just was moving sideways. It was down quite a bit if you go back to last springtime, and it took time for it to rally, and it did. Over last summer into the fall, the election, we saw that big significant push up. But since then, we have seen quite the drop here. If we take a look here on the chart, we could see that the exact date when that all-time high was hit was December 18th of 2024 last year. And really the pattern that came into play here, you had a nice double top pattern that came in here. You had a higher high and you had a lower high. And then once that neckline was taken out, there was a retest of it. In fact, it happened twice. But then after that, those retests is when it started to fall. And if you just take a look here, it started to cut through those moving averages pretty quickly. It did find some support around the 100 SMA on the daily. That was really into February, but on February 21st, and that's around the time that we hit all-time highs on the broader markets, things just started to collapse. And that was true for Tesla. It dropped down. It did find some support initially on that 200 SMA on the daily, and it did retest back up into that 200 EMA before it continued to drop lower. And it hit a bottom here, a recent bottom. We can continue to go lower on March 11th when it got down to 216.97, and really it moved sideways until it did get a push on the 21st. And then we could see it pushed up into that 200 SMA where what it once acted as support here was now seen as a resistance point. We came back down, bounced off the 100 on the weekly, and here we stand today with the current price action being at $270.33. In that 50 SMA on the weekly right now is holding as a bit of resistance. And so the question is where does Tesla go from here? What is in store for it over the next few months? And we could see that we do have some support down here below, but that's quite the ways away. It's the 100 SMA on the monthly that is at 149.44. And if you go back to last year around this time, this was later April, it looks like we hit a low in the 139 price area, but that's where it started to rebound and push higher. Now, the question is can Tesla come down to that 149 area or lower? Anything's possible because, again, when we're looking at these longer term moving averages on the daily, monthly, and weekly timeframes, they're pretty significant supports. They're strong. And so what we need to watch and see is, can it cut down through this 50 SMA on the monthly, or the 200 SMA on the weekly, or the 100 SMA on the weekly? And if it does that, then there is nothing holding it up as support. There is a clear path for it to fall down to the 100 SMA on the monthly. So that's what we would want to watch for. And just looking here at the visible range volume profile, you could see that there is support down in that 230 range, the recent lows. And really what we need to watch is what's happening with overall broader market weakness. And I've talked about the tariff day, the reciprocal tariffs implementation, which is tomorrow, April 2nd. how does that impact the overall markets and individual tickers like Tesla? Is that going to put more pressure on stocks? And will we see subsequent drops in value? And again, the other part too is just if you look at the hit that the Tesla brand has taken over the last several months with Elon Musk's participation in Doge, the Department of Governmental Efficiency, there have been lots of protests against Tesla at the dealerships, and the brand has taken a hit. Deliveries are down, not just in the US, but in other countries. And so you have to wonder if that has been completely priced in to the stock price. And really, what we want to watch and pay attention to is what is going to happen on earnings, which right now TradingView is saying that that's going to occur on the 28th of April. But I find that sometimes these dates early on before that next round of earnings starts are not accurate. So we're going to want to check to see if this is in fact the correct date. But more importantly, we want to see how the stock responds on earnings. Will Tesla announce something about their Optimus robots, which is related to their whole AI effort? Will we get an update on autonomous driving, self-driving vehicles? The full self-driving, is that software going to be available? Which we heard this earlier in the year that it would be available in Austin, Texas by June. Well, that date is approaching. So maybe we will get updates as such, and that technology is closer than originally thought, and that could provide some relief or a bounce for the stock. But if we don't get that type of information, and if this is just solely based on deliveries, car sales, and not the AI component or the self-driving features, then we could see the stock come lower. So we need to keep an eye on that. And then just going back to the last few earnings reports here, just to get a feel for what has occurred, we could see that the last earnings report here, this was at the end of January, we actually did gap up, but then that didn't hold. It continued to sell down. If you go back to October, we did have a gap up here. We retested into the 20 EMA on the daily before going higher. And if we go back prior to that, we had a gap down in July from the 250 range down into the 216s. And then before that, if we go back to last April, we did have a gap up where it pushed up and was rejected into that 100 SMA on the daily before moving sideways for quite some time before a run up that it had in the summer. So all that to say, there are a lot of moving parts in play here for Tesla in terms of how this is going to work out. Obviously, whatever's happening in the broader markets is going to impact the Tesla stock price. Musk's involvement in the Department of Governmental Efficiency, does the brand continue to get damaged as a result of his participation in that? And then what are we going to see in earnings? But the one thing to keep in mind is just look at how this current price action is really wedged in between all these moving averages. And if you just look at the path of least resistance, there's much less resistance to the downside, even though those are longer term moving averages, the 50 SMA on the monthly, the 100 and 200 on the weekly. But when you look above here, you've got the 50 SMA on the weekly, the 200 on the daily, the 50 SMA on the daily, and the 100. So really, it's nestled in between all those moving averages. There's less resistance to the downside. However, those are stronger, longer term moving averages. And so this is going to be a fun stock to watch over the next couple months to see how things play out. And I will be watching it very closely for day trades for sure. I'm not taking a swing position in this yet until we get greater confidence in what's going to happen in the broader markets. But that's it. That's my take on Tesla. What are your thoughts? Where will Tesla be here in the next couple of months? What's going to happen on earnings? Would love to hear your take in the comments. Please like and subscribe, share your thoughts, share with your family and friends, and I will see you back here the next time I do an analysis of a ticker. And if there's one you want to see, let me know. I will make it happen for you.